There's a photo on your parents' wall. Your grandfather standing in a driveway. Behind him, a house, brick front, 2 stories. Small garden on the left side. He bought it in 1971. He worked at a steel plant. No degree. 42 hours a week. The price, $24,000. He paid it off in 20 years. Never missed a payment. Retired at 63 with a pension, a house he owned outright, and a yard he mowed every Saturday morning. You look at that photo now, and you do the math. Same city. Adjusted for inflation, that house should be under $200,000 today. It's listed at $497,000. You make more than he ever did. And you cannot afford his life. You didn't do anything wrong. The system changed. This is the American housing system. Same country. Same dream. But depending on how much money you have, you will experience it as a completely different reality. This is what the system actually does, at every level. Level 1, $0. It's 2 a.m. You're in a Walmart parking lot. The back seat has a sleeping bag, a duffel bag with 3 days of clothes. You applied for emergency shelter 6 months ago. You're still on the wait list. The city has 400 shelter beds. There are 3,200 people ahead of you. You scroll through housing apps, not because you think you'll find something, because it gives you something to do at 2 a.m. in a parking lot. This is what it feels like to need shelter in the wealthiest country in the world. Invisible, like the system was built around you and left you out entirely. The housing system has a floor. You just found out it doesn't reach you. Level 2, $22,000 a year. You work at a grocery store, 4 closing shifts a week. You eat at 11 p.m. because there's still food in the break room, and dinner at home means less money for rent. Rent, $950 a month. Take home, $1,380. 2 years ago, you applied for Section 8 housing assistance. Last month, the city sent a letter. The wait list is closed. Not full. Closed. They stopped taking applications. You go to work. You show up. You pay what you owe. Almost 70% of what actually hits your account goes to rent. Every month, the math gets harder. The system calls this the affordable housing crisis. What it doesn't say, federal low-income housing support was slashed through the 1980s. That was a choice. You are living the consequences. Level 3, $42,000 a year. You're 31 years old. Full-time job. 2 roommates. A savings account you've been feeding for 4 years. You have $11,000. The cheapest house in your city, not the nicest, not the best neighborhood, the cheapest, is listed at $289,000. Down payment, $28,900. You do the math on a napkin one night. At your current rate, you'll have enough in 9 more years. In 9 years, the house will cost more. The gap isn't closing. You're running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. Your mother bought her first house at 28. She made $31,000 a year. It cost $67,000. She didn't save longer. She didn't sacrifice more. She was just born earlier. And nobody told you that timing was the whole game. Level 4, $68,000 a year. You sit across from a loan officer. Pay stubs, bank statements, credit score, 714. 5 years of saving. No missed payments. 1 student loan you've been quietly killing for 6 years. The bank approves you for $295,000. You open your laptop that night. Every house in your range is already sold. You schedule showings anyway. You show up with your pre-approval letter in a folder. First house, sold that morning. Cash offer, $38,000 over asking. Second house, same. Third, fourth. The 5th time, you sit in the car outside a house you just lost. A real estate investment company bought it. They now own 43 houses in your zip code, and you feel something new. Not sadness, rage. You did everything right. The degree, the credit score, the savings, the stable job. You followed every rule they told you to follow. The rules changed while you were following them. Level 5, $95,000 a year. You get the house, 40 minutes from work, 1 bathroom. The yard is mostly weeds. You sign the closing papers on a Tuesday afternoon. Your hands are shaking, not from joy, from the number. $2,380 a month. After the car, the utilities, the groceries, the student loan. You have $740 left. Your parents call that night. They're proud. You're building equity, your dad says. It gets easier. You don't tell him that 1 broken furnace means you miss a payment. You don't tell him you're 1 layoff away from losing all of it. You say thank you. You hang up. You made it. But making it feels like holding your breath for 30 years and praying nothing goes wrong underwater. Level 6. $200,000 a year. You close on a 3-bedroom in a good school district. The mortgage is $3,100 a month. It doesn't keep you up at night. You renovate the kitchen 2 years in. You take a vacation. You max out your retirement account. 5 years later, your house is worth $190,000 more than you paid. You didn't work for that. You didn't earn it. The market moved. And because you had enough to get here, the market paid you. This is the moment housing stops being a cost. This is when it becomes a machine. Level 7. $500,000 a year. You own 4 properties. You live in 1. The other 3 are rented. The rent covers the mortgages, and then some. Your accountant calls it passive income. You call it Tuesday. You don't fix the heater at the rental on Maple Street right away. Your property manager handles it. Or doesn't. You're not cruel. You're just removed. Housing stopped being a place where people live a long time ago. Now it's a category on a spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet is doing great. Level 8. $5 million plus. You own 340 units through an LLC, a holding company, a trust your attorney structured 3 years ago. You haven't seen most of them. Your tax attorney calls depreciation a gift. A 1031 exchange means you haven't paid capital gains in over a decade. Cost segregation lets you depreciate fixtures, flooring, and building components faster. The people in your units are the people from level 2, from level 3, from level 4, the ones who kept losing to cash offers. Their rent pays your mortgage. Their rent builds your wealth, every month without fail. They wonder why they can't get ahead. You're the reason, not because you're evil, because the system designed it this way, and you got here first. Let's pull back. At $0, the city has a list. You're on it, behind 3,000 other people who needed help first. At $22,000, the list is closed. You don't even get to wait. At $42,000, you're saving. But the finish line moves faster than you can run. At $68,000, you qualified. The market didn't care. At $95,000, you made it. But making it means holding your breath for 30 years and praying nothing breaks. At $200,000, the house works for you. You stopped working for it. At $500,000, housing is income. At $5 million, housing is infrastructure. It generates wealth. It shelters wealth. It multiplies it. Tax advantaged. And here's what nobody told you. By the late 1970s, the federal government backed hundreds of thousands of new subsidized housing commitments a year. By the early 1980s, that number had collapsed. Large investors, corporate landlords, and real estate trusts now own hundreds of thousands of single-family homes across the country. In some markets, they are concentrated enough to change what ordinary buyers are up against. The waitlists grew longer. The prices went up. The wages didn't follow. This didn't just happen. It was built. The moral inversion. Here's what's backwards. The less money you have, the more of it goes to housing. The more money you have, the more housing generates money for you. The person at level 2 pays $950 a month, for years, for decades, and builds nothing. The person at level 6 pays $3,100 a month and receives $190,000 in equity in return. The same act, paying for a place to live. One builds wealth, one drains it. Same country, same act, different outcome. Decided before you ever walked through the door. It's not a coincidence. It's not bad luck. It's not the market being the market. Systems don't run on gravity. They run on design. Your grandfather bought his house on a factory wage. He never thought about it much. It was just what you did when you got a job and settled down. You worked. You saved a little. You bought a house. That was the deal. You think about housing every single day. Not because you're weaker than he was. Not because your generation wants too much. But because someone made a series of decisions about zoning laws, about who gets tax advantages, about whether housing is a human need or a financial asset. That made his life feel simple, and made yours feel like a negotiation you're always losing. The American dream was never free. It was subsidized, for some people, on purpose.